Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 4 of the Aegis Defenders League. We've got a banger of a match today. XG Gnomes versus Surely Not. I'm Karthik, and I've got my Orbital with me here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Excited to be here. Excited to cast some League of Legends once again with the Defenders League. So hopefully it's a good time.
Yeah, and this is interesting, right? We casted both these teams already, so our frequent stream viewers, they'll know the people playing today. Surely Not had a convincing 2-0 win in our previous stream, and I believe XG Gnomes had a close defeat in the week before. So they're going to be matching up today. We've got the Clash of the Titans. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say Titans as much as we would like to say. Both the squads are currently sitting at a 50% to lower win rate in the current standings. Surely Not, I believe, is sitting at 1-1, and XG Gnomes are sitting at 1-2. Now, I could be wrong about those numbers, as again, some matches have not been played. However, I wouldn't say Titans, but I would say competitors of Titans. We have seen them slog through a lot of these battles against some of the higher rankings like Flame Horizon and Iridescent Dawn. These have been very tough matchups for them. So although I wouldn't call them Titans, they have shown exemplary strength in trying to topple those Titans. So even though they may not be the best of the best, I expect them to work their way up. They're here with today's match.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be exciting to see because it is still week 4, the beginning of the league. But I'm sure both of these teams have played against different levels and strengths of opponents too. So just because XG Gnomes lost their match while Surely Not won theirs, it really doesn't mean anything coming in for this week.
Yeah, it's enough to say, hey, listen, we're gonna see a decent amount of strength. We got Dwam Neve for XG Gnomes, we got Worm Jones, Zui, as well as Killua, Zoldyck, as well as Jiking. So these are all players that are hoping to make their mark once again and keep themselves in the top 4.
Yeah, I remember in that previous stream, like Dwamni had some crazy plays as the solo laners really did well for XG Gnomes, but they really weren't able to just like pull it over the line. So we'll see if they can make a bit of a difference this time.
And I mean, I really do hope they do. I mean, this is a squad that is really, I as much as I hate to say it, hurting for a win. They need these victories to kind of keep themselves in the top 4. If they lose another one, they're rounding about 4th and 5th. And with only 2 more weeks after this in the regular season round robin, it's not a good look if you lose.
Yeah, and I believe last time they had K-Peps in there as ADC too, so maybe dealing with like some substitute issues or something like that. But hopefully they got the full strong squad coming in this time and they can bolster themselves with a win.
Yeah, and taking a look at the other side as well, this is going to be Surely Not. And for them, we got Lech in the top side, Zohair in the jungle, YouTube in the mid lane, Technology in that ADC, and Irie at that support role.
Yeah, and these guys are so strong, especially in that stream that we saw last week. They demolished the enemy. They were so convincing in their win. So I think they're going to be bringing their strong record, that momentum forward, and seeing if they can carry it over to this week.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we get underway with the draft as well, because I think these squads are really going to look a little bit more forward. I know there were a majority share changes recently in the current patch, and I mean the rise of possibly Mbessa into the meta might shake things up for a lot of these players. Now, of course, the champion may or may not be available by the time playoffs rolls around, but I really do hope that they have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and just like that, we are on to this draft. Some power picks. What do you think has got to be banned out today? Is Yone still that crazy power pick now?
I would say so. I mean, you know, Yone, I think Cassante might be a possibility, although Cassante is just a general good pick in the top side. But I would say the Yone and the Aurora are 2 I really do hope take precedent. Ashe might be on the table as well on the red side, but if you're looking in that jungle role, I mean, the Udyr does make sense. Surely Not have used that before to take control, you know, had that brawler style to kind of converge. So banning it outright, I like this for the Gnomes.
Yeah, and Udyr, you guys might not see it a lot in pro play, but in these leagues we see it a lot. So not only in the picks but in the bans as well. So good to see that being taken off the board because it's just such a good, safe blind pick that can fit into any team comp.
I mean, not only that, I mean, we are looking at so much more with the Hui as well, targeted towards that mid lane, which I think is very appropriate. You say, hey, look, we don't want to let you have that ability to have that all-arounder. There's the Aurora ban, which is a little bit surprising on blue side nonetheless. I always feel like it's a red side ban along with the Yone, but with the Aurora banned out, you can ban the Ashe freely and not be worried about what could go down. So surely not getting a little bit of a freebie there in terms of what bans are being put against them.
Yeah, and with these drafts too, you can kind of see some interesting things. If XG Gnome is banning Aurora on blue side, maybe it'll be up and there for the next match if the sides are switched or anything like that. And I'm glad to see the Syndra banned out. I did see a certain mid laner spamming a lot of games on it recently.
I think that's more than appropriate to go ahead and ban out. Surely not going to get that favorite. And the Corki one also seems a little bit surprising. Corki hasn't been meta for quite some time. It's okay though in the right situation, but this leaves open the Yone. This is what we talked about. I mean, you're gonna first pick that all day long, and I would assume that goes into the mid lane. So the Gnome's already off to a very strong start.
Yeah, Yone has been the name of the game for the past few weeks, but I'm surprised, you know, it's been this long, it's still being left up, but you gotta think, surely not, they've got a plan to deal with this Yone pick. Maybe there's some spicy picks that are gonna come out.
I mean, you need spicy or you need a rock solid style, and this is one way to counter it. Bringing out, you know, the assassin in the mid lane as well. The Akali trade out, the burst can actually do work, and this is wanted to boot, so this is going to lend itself to a very CC heavy battery. If the Akali goes mid, Sejuani obviously in the jungle, surely not, ensuring that they get some form of lockdown here and keeping that Yone in check.
Yeah, they're just trying to out skirmish them, right? Sejuani, Akali, and then maybe we see another melee top come around with it to really have a rock solid top side and not let Yone be able to do too much. But I don't know, in that individual matchup, I think Akali still doesn't have the best time into that Yone. And here we see Skarner.
The Skarner, I think, is again, it's been blind pick on blue side for a while. In the jungle role, you go ahead, pick it B1. Of course, in this instance, Yone was the B1, which it makes a lot more sense, but you go ahead and grab the Skarner. It's a great tank. It's a great engage tool as well. With the Impale, you can draw so many members back in, but now you got to blind pick something, and I would hope it's the ADC. ADC here, to me at least, makes a lot of sense. You can go ahead and just grab that Kai'Sa as we saw, and I mean, it just makes a simple dive composition, so for surely not, you got to realize they're going to go in on you. Gnomes are willing to go forward.
Yeah, and out of all the ADCs too, I like the Kai'Sa here. You have some self-sufficiency with the invis, the shield from your ulti to kind of stay alive against the dive of Sejuani, Akali as well. But we'll see what's going to happen on the other side. There's a lot of threat on XG. Will we see like an Ezreal or Xayah coming out?
I would actually, okay, so here's the deal. I don't like Xayah. I understand why Xayah is picked, but when you have an Akali and a Sejuani, you don't want to be playing safe in this instance. Having an ADC that plays back, I get it, but I don't like to see it. It just doesn't feel very forward momentum to me. Even if you drop down to a Sivir, I like that, mainly because you can push forward, you have that go button, but Xayah still pumps out a lot of damage, so I get why it's picked. So, you know, I may not be the biggest expert out there, so hopefully they do pair it with a little bit of safety as we do see the next bans.
Yeah, and now we just see a couple of top lane bans coming through. Jax is the craziest top laner right now, so good to see that taken out of the way. Seeing the Aatrox, maybe we'll see Cassante as well.
Yeah, they might leave it open. I mean, there are Cassante counters, especially with some of that, I want to say some of that range top lane action. We've seen the Vayne be utilized in there if you are mechanically proud. But the Rel also makes sense with the Kai'Sa. You want to ban away a lot of those engage tools, and for surely not, I wouldn't be upset to see something like a Thresh to come out to deny that extra piece of engage here. Gnomes are wondering, you know, hey, do we want to ban that safety? I mean, the Rakan in this instance would not be a terrible ban either. I know it's not meta at the moment either, but the Xayah Rakan can just be a pain. No, they're actually going to look at that top side triple ban.
Yeah, I really like the Rakan in this instance for both teams, honestly. You know, you can have a good mix of both the engage, but also a little bit of peel for the people who need it. You can kind of just dance back and forth. That's the specialty that he brings. So maybe we'll see the Rakan. Nautilus is always just the standard pairing with Kai'Sa as well. So probably hoping to see that come out.
I think it's what it's leading to. The Rel is actually taking precedent up above, and there's a Rakan that I talked about. If you are going to pick it, it's not in meta, but it works well with the Xayah, and it can flex between the engage and disengage. And it's a great tool to also deny the Yone, I think. You know, Yone goes into the spirit form, and all of a sudden you wrap them up inside of the entrance or the quickness, charm them up, lock them up, and the Yone can do nothing. I think that's appropriate, but will it work is the other question. Here, Gnomes do have to decide, do you want to go with the Nautilus, or do you want to go with a little bit more annoyance? The Poppy, surprisingly enough, still screams possibility of a support pick, which you're dealing with the Rakan jumping in, so that could be a Poppy support, still bringing that engage tool at the end of the day. So this is the last pick up here from Gnomes. Is it going to be top, or is it going to be support? That's my big question. Either you counter pick the Rakan, and the Poppy's the blind pick, or Poppy is down and there's the Cassante, like you were talking about, Karthik. I mean, this makes sense.
Yeah, you know, if you're playing Poppy for that dash denial, having it in that support role, you know, you can go all across the map, have a big impact. You don't have to go get the CS in your top lane. That can be like Cassante's job. So I like that it was flexed to support in this occasion.
And now you got to figure out for surely not, do you want to go aggressive? And I think you do. You already have a pretty forward moving composition, and yeah, this set would be perfect. You have 3 bullies that are going in, technically 4 if the Poppy decides to join in. Set's going to deny at least one of them, which is more than appropriate. You have built up a very nice defensive wall for the Xayah, and still enabling the Akali, which we saw all the way at R1 position, be enabled to move forward. The entirety of Surely Not is willing to be that wrecking ball, which same thing on the Gnome side, they've done the exact same thing.
Yeah, I love the set pick coming out here. It's just so good into everyone on that XG team. I think this is that crazy R5 that you're always waiting for, you know, standard draft so far, but I think this is that linchpin. If it doesn't get behind in lane, it can really push them to victory.
I'm very, very curious about this bottom side. The Xayah and the Rakan, I think, are kind of the linchpin here for Surely Not, because you need to have that ADC in the back pocket to deal with some of these shredders. Akali and Set, they're going to be moving away already. They're going to be looking at the back line. They're going to be looking at the frontline duelists. I need to see the Xayah get off the ground and be able to pump out the damage in case things go wrong for Surely Not. The Yone is going to get off the ground very quickly. It's going to be very annoying if the Yone is not pinched by the Sejuani and Akali. So, I mean, there's already a power pick there. And if the Kaisa gets to a roll, all of a sudden, Xayah, the Feather Storm ain't saving you.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. XG is a very beefy, tanky team, right? And no one other than Xayah really has that DPS. So let's see if XG just kind of just focuses everything. If they can kill the Xayah, who's going to kill them?
There's so many little questions here, and that's what I'm really, really excited about. And then top side, of course, the set and everything of the sort. It's just like, hey, listen, go ham, beat each other up, and see what happens. But it really is about this mid and bot lane. I think for Surely Not and the Gnomes, both these squads are going to be looking at the mid and bot lane to get rolling in either capacity. Both sides have a pretty good idea of how to get it moving. Let's see if their execution is up there as well.
Yeah, and there's only one way to find out what's going to happen, and that'll be going into game. But we're going to be back after a little short break, right after a little message from our sponsor, ProComps.
Quick shout out to ProComps, our sponsor and a game changer app for the League community. This isn't just like the other tools. It's your personal draft coach, perfect for both teams and solo players. In fact, you can pair it with any other app you use. ProComp stands out with features like custom champion pools, personalized tier lists, and live draft advice. Think of it as having a virtual coach and a strategy toolkit all in one. They offer real-time champion ban recommendations. They already have over 200,000 downloads and thousands of daily users just like you. ProComps is user-friendly and totally free. It is a no-brainer to at least give it a go. Download ProComps now, and you'll experience a whole new level of drafting power in your league games. Go to procomps.gg, download it from Overwolf, or click the panel below on our stream.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We got the XG Gnomes versus Surely Not, week 4 of the ADL here. Excited to kick off the series and see who can come out on top in the first game.
Draft is, of course, done now, and we get to see the battle lines drawn, which is, of course, fairly standard. No shenanigans here. What, of course, I do want to take a look at is, of course, that Poppy on the bot side going exhaust instead of ignite, saying, hey, we know we need to slow people down, and this, I think, is especially for YouTube in that mid lane. If the Akali goes in, you want to have a lot of safety. Of course, both mid laners also opting for a much safer trading pattern. The Doran's shield on both ends means that they are not willing to, well, at least they understand that this is going to be a little bit tricky. No electrocute to come out either. So, I mean, Zooey and YouTube both saying we're going to play this one nice and smooth. First ward drop as well. I like the challenge from Worm Jones.
Yeah, Zohair, he had the red trinket ready. He knows the Raptors ward was coming in, so he's gonna pick up that first CS of the game for himself.
And I think that's a nice little part of this game. You're making sure that you keep vision denied, and for Worm Jones, feeling okay with that placement, you say, okay, I already have that placement. You know that you're going to be starting top to bot, so Worm Jones should be fairly comfortable clearing out their jungle side.
Yeah, and we got a quick look. Oh, we see Ire going in already as Keeching is going to be battling back and forth. Technology moving forward. It gets the exhaustion and both barriers pop as Zoldyck is now going to be putting the damage down back onto Ire, and it's just going to be sums traded back and forth, but everyone's still staying alive for now.
I think that's a nice little trade. Granted, you lose the barrier and ignite on the bot side, and a barrier exhaust on the other. So the HP differential is a big one. And Ire and Technology are actually the ones that lose out more. In that instance, being Killua and Keijing are more than okay in this bottom lane now, unless Zohair decides to run down.
Yeah, and there's just trading back and forth between YouTube and Zooey, but as the levels keep going up, Zooey's just going to keep winning them, I feel.
I think so as well. It's tough to say. It is a skill matchup at the end of the day, and I mean, this is This is a
Santi here.
rough time now on the top.
Big grass proc. One more auto, but LeChosen just barely gets away with his life for now.
I think LeChosen is more than understanding that they messed up there. Of course, like you said, it's going to be a mess. Dwamni is still doing okay in that instance and has a pretty hefty CS lead, so this will translate into a further lead for the K'Sante Zooey, though. Still trying to bait things out, and with both junglers now clearing their entire jungle sides, it's going to be a meeting of the minds. Do they decide to go bot lane or mid?
Yeah, there is a deep ward by XG, but surely does not have much vision right now. And we see a little bit of a pause here as now Scuttle Crab is going to be in contention. Let's see if both these junglers go for it.
I think there's going to be some fight, but I think Worm Jones has a little bit of an edge here. Got there first and is going to force Zoe here a little bit further away. Not only that, though, the spot side has a little bit of taste of fear in it.
Yeah, great snare by Technology here as Keeching is running for his life as Zohair pushing the pedal to the metal onto Worm Jones as the Skarner is in a little bit of trouble. Great flash to cancel the dash, and Worm Jones is going to be going down first blood to Technology.
I like that call. I originally thought Killua and Ki Jing were going to be able to have that damage output, but unfortunately they weren't able to rotate, and because of that, Technology and Ire are allowed to be in that proper position, helping out Zohair get that first blood. That's going to mean Zohair has massive advantage over Worm Jones in the second clear. First blood, whoa! Solo kill on the top side.
Yeah, he just claps the goat, says, nah, I'm the goat in the top lane as he picks up a kill for himself.
I was not expecting that. I thought, honestly, LeChosen was going to be able to be fine, but taking that scrap a little bit too far now puts you in a very rough position. Dwamni is going to be recalling with a hefty chunk of gold, walking back to lane as well, saving that. Okay, there's the TP being used.
Yep, he does get access to those minions in the end as Technology and Ire, they got the pushback. Another great chunk onto kill as Worm Jones going in and looking to punish the goat once again as we see the Haymaker gonna come out. Oh, it is coming out now. Dwamni puts him off into the tower though, and there's just nothing this set can do as he ends up going down once again.
This now signals to me that for the rest of the Gnomes, you don't have to win, you just have to play smart, and you have to get your HP and CS in, just like in the mid lane. Zooey farming up, not as well as YouTube at the current moment, but still in an okay route. Mainly, I'm looking at bot side. Killua and Ki Jing just have to say, okay, don't die, let the K'Sante farm up, and then we can be a powerful force come the mid game.
Yeah, K'Sante getting so ahead so early just seems so scary, right? Set is someone who's all about dueling, but if you can't duel, then what do you do?
You sit there and go, yeah, this sucks. Honestly, there's a very big difference there, and I really do hope that LeChosen is able to get a little bit of help. If not, you are stuck in this position where you're always going to lose HP for every CS.
Yeah, and he ults him once again back into the tower. The Haymaker helping with the turret shot, but no one's gonna help him with the K'Sante that's slamming the Intofos on his face. 3 kills to K'Sante already.
But it isn't going to stop either. Like, this is going to be a repeat overall, and for surely not, you have to realize this. You are going to sit there and go, okay, we have to deal with this, and unfortunately, it's not going to stop. So how do you deal with this? You look at other lanes. You try and get other lanes ahead.
Yeah, and now Keeching once again running for his life as the Everfrost lands. A call in the ult. Keeching, the mark is still on him as YouTube gets the kill. And that Kali is just way too mobile. The flash is just wasted in the end.
It's just a painful one, and for YouTube, getting that kill now means you have a little bit of an extra piece over Zooey. Zooey so far hasn't really had too much of a difference, and that means this go in button could be so real.
Yeah, trades everywhere. Zooey going in onto YouTube. Skarner's here to help out. Worm Jones is crashing the party as now YouTube is running for his life. Akali may be fast. She dodges the rock and is able to get out with her life.
I mean, that's cheating, bringing in your jungler, and Zohair's like, it's not cheating, I'm doing it to bot side.
Yeah, Zoe here says my turn, and they're looking for a dive as Ire lands the knockup. Dashes aren't allowed, but Zoldyck is not allowed to live either, as now it's Keeching left again, stunned by himself. Ooh, Zohair tanks with one more turret shot as here comes Worm Jones. Skarner's not 6 yet, but he's going on to Technology, but does he have the damage? He can kill Zohair. Oh, not yet, as Keeching goes on to Technology on the other side. This fight is just so close. The barrier pop. Keeching running for his life. Worm Jones pulling him into the tower. Skarner coming out huge on the counter gang to pick up the double kill.
I mean, that is the best way a counter gank could go. Yes, you lost your bot lane, but honestly, you get so much more. The Gnomes fighting back pretty dang hard in mid and bot side, but mid is still in a precarious position. Now Dwamni still trying to take out LeChosen.
Yeah, it's now Ire going for the battle recon onto Zui here. Zui gets the third charge of his Q. Can he get out? Yes, he can. Ire will just have to say goodbye for now.
I think you're more than okay with that situation. Zui's just like, hey, at least I got my life. Dwamni is still pushing on the top side. Of course, for surely not, you get the dragon. That's what you're actually really happy about. You're starting to get that advantage with the global objectives. Is there going to be a mesh though? Is there actually going to be a challenge?
Yeah, I really don't know here. The last time they walked up into that river, they paid with their life. As Kishin going him by himself while Killua's fighting off on the other end. Just some little scraps back and forth, but the dragon is going to end up going over, surely not.
It's only a cloud. It's not the biggest deal in the world, so I think Zoa here is more than okay. Like they got it, but at the same time, Gnomes are just saying we'll fight for the next one. It's a mountain second. You can afford to give these away, especially if you're trying to push the advantage early on. Granted, it's only a 400 gold difference here in the early stages, but it still feels like the Gnomes have an overwhelming pressure whenever they decide to make that play, whether it be in the top, mid, or bot side.
Yeah, and what I'm really concerned about for surely not is this Grubs coming up. You got such a strong Cassante in that top lane. How do you even really contest the Grubs? And if you don't, that's a 6 Grub Cassante pushing in the side lanes?
Yeah, this is the... It's not going to be a good time. That's also why we're calling out this early lane swap. Dwamni just going to be up against Technology and Ire, and this should actually help out a bit. Technology does have those 2 kills, and that should help alleviate some of the damage, especially with the Essence Reaver in the bucket. But if they call the lane swap back, Dwamni goes bot side, takes a couple of plates for themselves as well, and all of a sudden it means, you know, not too much.
Yeah, I really love this from Surely Not. A great idea to try and contest these Grubs. The bot lane, they're actually pretty strong, right? Xayah has 2 kills here, while the Kai'Sa, not a single one. So they are going to be stronger on this top side now since Dwam is going to the bot lane. But Worm Jones going on to Technology here. She has the ult, she has the flash, hasn't used anything as the rocks are piling down on top of here. But now here's Kissing on the back. Worm Jones, he's going to end up going down. But Technology is caught by the Killer Instinct and he gets traded back as the Poppy ult, the big hammer, it's just gonna charge down.
I think that's gonna be okay. There is no chance, but that's the lock.
Yeah, Zuhair going in once again, but Keisheng is the disruptor. He'll end up paying with his life as now YouTube diving in. 2 more kills traded back and forth. It's a fiesta in the top lane.
Honestly, it's looking good for surely not. They are doing better and better at some of these fights, and that was off the back of Technology getting caught out. Worm Jones though is not as tanky as they think, only has the heart steal. That's just HP in the back pocket. Main difference, YouTube fell after that rotation, meaning Zui had a little bit of time to catch up. Still 0-0-0, but even in farm means this is a little bit more time for the Gnomes to fight it out. Also means they can rotate on these Grubs and look at those 6.
Yeah, and now we got TPs coming in as the battle for the Grubs here. Zui and Worm Jones are going in. Zohair's a little bit low, but Cassante has arrived here. That Zohair is running for his life here. He's gonna end up going down. The Haymaker about to come out. Oh, popped away from the Poppy Hammer as Technology ends up going down. This Cassante is on a rampage and the Ninja is next on the table. YouTube smashed into the wall and taken down.
It hurts. The Gnomes said no way. And I think that was a well done collapse. Surely not thought that they could fight it out, but they still realized that the Cassante is so dang strong. And as long as Dwamni is there at the early start of the fight, I don't think there's a way surely not actually win. You saw Technology not really have the availability to fight it out. LeChosen, you couldn't do much either. So Gnomes taking the rightful reward, which is going to be a massive number of plates here in the mid lane, possibly some on the bot side for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, Zohair looking to see if he can make something happen, but decides against it. And yeah, the power of the 6 Grubs, that tower in the mid lane's almost dead. The tower in the top lane's already going down, and I don't know what YouTube can do against this Cassante right now.
I think there's a, you know, it's just going to be the waited out game. You're waiting to get to that point where the Xayah can start shredding. This is what I mentioned earlier. Technology needs a really good start, and now you can pick on Zui.
Yeah, Zui in trouble as Ire pulling off the dance, charms the Yone as Zui. Can he ult out? No, he can't. He's blocked from every direction possible. He's running for his life, but he has nowhere to go as Zohair picks up the kill.
Very much a bully aspect, and I think that's a huge pickup as well. Take a look at where Surely Not have started positioning themselves. All the wars littered around this upcoming dragon, not just that, trying to punish the Yone early on, making sure that the Yone isn't going to be prepared for the mid game as well as they would like. Zooey's still waiting to get the first item completed, meaning this next dragon fight will or will not be given over to Knowledge, though, running the Poppy away here.
Yeah, Keating is going to be able to get out here, but it's heavily chunked before the dragon, so going to end up having to recall. And Yone, he does not get that all-important Blade of the Ruined King. He's saying the back gets stopped once again. This just gives him so much priority for this dragon with all this vision everywhere.
Yep. Honestly, give it up. For the Gnomes, you don't have to fight over. It's a mountain. It's not the worst one to give in the world. What you want to do is make sure Dwamni can look at taking first tower or more plates. At this point, obviously, the plates are not going to fall. You only have about 15 seconds. I don't think you're going to get this dragon unless Worm Jones opts to steal.
Yeah, he might be looking for a little drive-by steal, but nothing really going to end up happening. But I think it's really important that Yone is getting these plates, you know? Get him onto that first item where he basically turns, he goes Super Saiyan. He becomes a different champion with his trades after.
I mean, you are just all powerful once you get these items in use. So Zooey being granted that first tower gold is going to help out a lot and getting you back into a proper position. Not only that, you open up the top side where the Herald has spawned, and you assume the Gnomes are going to be up there as well. So all these little things starting to come together for them in terms of pushing the game forward. Maybe not in the global game objective, as we're seeing a jump in, Zooey getting ulted.
Yeah, Zooey ults out, but the Kali follows him back as now we got to fight Bruin in the mid lane. Zohair going in onto Killua here. Killua's going to try and get out, but Ire is going to look. Oh, Worm Jones locking down. Oh, what a Skarner ult. That's great plays coming out here, but this Zaya is so difficult to catch. Worm Jones finally ends up picking up the kill, but now the reinforcements have arrived as Ire not going to be able to dash anywhere, but Keeching is in trouble. The knockup ends up landing. YouTube is now chasing. The stun is slowly going to land here. Do they have the damage? The ult is going to end up finishing it with the power of the Glacial Prison.
I mean, that was very, very well done. This was a difficult one to fight for, and honestly, I like that you called it out. Technology was able to stay alive for so long and that able to get the recall off on the feathers, slice through multiple members of the Gnomes, and essentially, if Dwamni isn't there, Surely Not win. If Dwamni is there, you don't win. That's how it's currently playing out here. And I don't think the Gnomes have really understood that part just yet. We can see the TPs going out with no major objectives. It's okay. Really, I'm looking at Killua. Are you going to get called out? Are you going to get jumped on? And yes, you are, but you're more than okay.
Yeah, and honestly, Surely Not have done a really good job of playing away from the Cassante, you know? So many of these past few fights, they've always fought it away from him, and it's been pretty good. But Zohair starting once again a fight without the Cassante, as Zooey is going to be skirmishing, but YouTube is here for reinforcements, lands the mark, and Zooey is down. Now the teleport's coming in a bit late as Dwamni looking for revenge on YouTube here, but Cassante's a little bit slow, not going to end up catching out, but Zohair, uh-oh, he's in a world of trouble. Keeching locks him down, and the reinforcements are slowly arriving. I think Zohair's realizing that he's gonna end up going down. Nothing much he can do.
Nope. What this is going to do is open up an opportunity for the Herald to go to the Gnomes' way, which is why I see the hard push from Surely Not looking at those towers, trying to get gold back. Ire also running interference, but I don't know if this, yeah, you're not catching anything right there, but they are giving it up to try and get more kills.
Ooh. Rakan really playing with the limits there, has the enhanced range to get to Zaya here with the power of the couple. And yeah, just on the side too, Le Chosen got a full tower by himself too. Do you think that brings him into the game, or is Dwam just way too ahead?
I think Dwam's still very much ahead. I mean, you just got your heart steal. It's only sitting, I mean, you're still trying to freshly start stacking it. It's going to take a while. I think it's going to take a long, long time before Dwamni even feels threatened by anyone on that stance. This Herald is going to go down. Gnomes now have a chance to push, what, 2 towers at least? It's going to be a big one to play for, and honestly, this pinch position could be very, very dangerous if Surely Not are not careful.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of a lull save before this next dragon comes. Surely Not have actually picked up both the dragons so far, but I don't know. I think XG's got to fight for this next one, right?
Yes, sure. I think overall you still get your pick of the litter. I think the Gnomes can win it out if they are there first, but surely not have been so good at staying forward. Zooey though, Zooey's looking to try and duel this out.
Yeah, the Blade of the Ruin King just makes the trade so favorable for him. He can take like a pretty even trade and then completely heal up with the next wave, and then the Chosen is sad as some good damage getting off onto Killua.
I think Killua is just so far just playing that cleanup crew. That's all you're hoping for. Herald being dropped really early though. I don't know if I like this one. It is going to break, but how much more are you going to get? I was hoping they could drive it in for like a second if possible.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically dead. I guess the Herald was running out, so they wanted something from it. But now the Dragon is coming up, so surely not with their famous Vision games. It was so cleanly done last time, and they're looking to replicate that again.
I think with this Dragon though, it's such a giant pain on either end. You can see the wards and you see the fighting, and I think really Zohair is looking to be that mainstay bully with those kind of tanky setup in front. But the vision is now cleared. This is what we mentioned before. If Dwamni is around, I don't think Surely Not can handle that kind of tank front. Already level 13, well and ahead of just about anyone else in the game with 2 items deep. The Jack Show already built with that with the Iceborne Gauntlets. He is so dang strong that, yeah, they're going to give it up. The Gnomes just like, yeah, this is ours. We're not worried.
Yeah, and you mentioned it right there. The 2-item Cassante is actually with them this time. So that's enough for Surely Not. They are indeed going to get a good trade for it, though. They get that tower in the top lane, get some more gold onto YouTube.
And for YouTube, they themselves went with a little bit of a different, no Proto Bell, of course, and I mean, the Proto Bell is always a fun one to play with, but the Storm Surge just has a lot more burst to it. It's not as strong as it, was initially on release, but still enough to cause a little bit of chaos if Zooey is supposed to get into that mix if Killua steps up in the wrong spot. Of course, with that stance, you're still looking to buy out. I think you're going to go back with a decent chunk of gold, maybe pick up an extra piece. I think it's not a full item completion, just should be component. Yep, there it is, the needlessly large rod. And now you can start looking at that damage output, at that team fight, or the flank option as well.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to bring up Dwamni. He had such a polarizing start to this game, right? Solo kills left and right. But since then, do you think he's really had that much of an impact, or have they been able to deal with the split push so far for how fed he really has gotten?
I don't think, I think it's a combination of both. The Gnomes haven't really been looking to force anything, which I think they can if they rotate Dwamni appropriately. Second, I don't think they have to at points. Dwamni is a threat all on their own, and that's what they're hoping for. Dwamni just kind of draws attention left and right, and Surely Not have to play around it, and Zooey is actually reaping the benefits here, keeping up in the CS department, being able to get good fights against Le Chosen, who I don't think actually enjoys this.
Yeah, Le Chosen, can he land the Haymaker? It'll make the biggest difference. Zooey with a beautiful dodge with the Umbral Trespass, and he's going to look to go in on him. The ult is going to end up landing, and Zooey is going to look to take down Le Chosen Goat, but the new challenger is approaching as now YouTube is going to concede the ulti here, and Zooey is not going to stand much of a chance as the Storm Surge is picking up the killing blow.
I think with that, again, it's Zooey just trying to find kills wherever they can, and I think that's very much appropriate. Take a look at how hard there's a push on the top side. This is turning into a split push game between the tops and mid. Gnome, though, not allowed to stray any further out, as we do see pings going down onto the Baron. Gnome saying, okay, we see the Kali down bot side. We can look at this Baron.
Yeah, an early Baron looking to be started up here, but they know there's no sneaking going around here, no T1 Baron here, and it's interesting, they're looking to start this off. YouTube is going to be able to back and get the teleport off, and I don't know, this is looking pretty risky so far as Zohair, he has his eyes. Keeping's actually going in onto him. The charm connecting to everyone by Irea's Technology on the other side. Killua is taken down just like that, and now they're in a little bit of a rough spot as the entire team is converging. The pincers are landing. Can Technology stay alive? The feathers are huge, but there's so many people. He still stays alive. He finally ends up going down, but after so much damage, which means his team is here to pick up the slack as Zooey ends up going down. Technology finally ends up going down, and that was just a mess of a fight.
Honestly, well played by Technology, making sure to draw the fight away from the Baron pit. Had to burn the flash and the barrier, of course, but you bought enough time that it turned into a 2 for 3. Surely Not were allowed to gather up a kill on Zooey, who went in where the rest of the team backed off. It was just a little bit of miscommunication. and it hurts. You know, the Gnomes were on the cusp of possibly getting that Baron off of a pretty bold call, but Dwamni now is set up for a mid lane push, and the rest of this is going to be surely not. Can you catch this tank? Can you get to be that frontward bully that they need to be? And especially with the Xayah in the back pocket, technology can throw their weight around given the opportunity.
Yeah, and I feel like Dwamni, he still hasn't completely capitalized off that early game power, right? He's still that 6-0 Cassante. He's got a 500 gold bounty that you're almost scared of giving away at this point, so you maybe are just playing a little bit more safer too. I don't know, like, I want to see what happens in the next team fight. Will Cassante just go Cassante mode and kill them all, or is the team going to be able to deal with them?
I think the team, if it's only Cassante, it might be enough. I mean, it's gonna take a while though. You're praying Dwamni has 0 backup. Is that ever gonna happen? Probably not. The next dragon though might call down some resistance on either end. Remember, this dragon has been a battleground for both squads, and you can already see Surely not trying to position early on with ward coverage, ensuring everyone is run out. Keep eyes on Dwamni though. Is there gonna be a TP with some warding in front? So far, it is no flank option. Instead, it will be a brute force straight through the river. So for Dwamni, that's what I'm looking for, and Technology might be in a rough spot.
Yeah, Technology is playing so aggressive, playing to his limit, but in the bot lane, Keishing is looking onto YouTube. It's going to be a little 2v2 scuffle as the set is going in. He does not land the stuns as Keishing and Zui are slowly walking away, but YouTube doing so much damage with the ultimate, the assassination onto the support. But now the rest of the team has arrived. Irie does not land the knockup. The Worm Jones is stunned. Killua is so low already. Both carries so low, and Dwamni is kind of just by himself here in the entire team. And he is just so tanky, pushing the YouTube away from the fight. And now Zui, beautiful ultimate, huge impact from Zui, but Dwam also following up with it. Oh my god, the AoE is just crazy this fight. This is the impact we've been waiting for, as the chosen goat now ends up going down. Triple kill for Dwamni.
That was a sealing of the fates for sure. Zui was low, less than 200 HP, and said, I'm gonna turn it around. A triple knockup into a quad seal on the ulti, and then Dwamni allowed to clean up. That was a beautiful turnaround, and honestly, that should have gone Surely Not's way. If they were able to kill Zui, that was a wash. That was Surely Not's all the way through. They had the damage margins, they had the power. Dwamni though, being gifted this opportunity, now 9-0-5, has a Randuin's Omen in the back pocket. It's just gotten worse for Surely Not. They were the ones in a convincing kind of setup and position, and now you're lost in that sense. This is going to be a massive problem going forward.
Yeah, and that fight, I just want to go back to it. That was so surprising. Both carries were a half HP at the start of it, and I honestly thought that that fight was over. Surely not. It was their chance to get over the finish line, but just the amazing, just Cassante, and also Yone has just so much lifesteal too that he was able just to come back into the fight, being able to heal up to almost full HP, and that's gonna be even worse, like with the shield bow and the Bork, and oh my god, it's just Yone Cassante moments all over again, man. These champs are so OP.
I mean, I think this is gonna be a nice little test here at the end of the day. I think this is gonna be a chance for Zui to show off once again. Now that you're online, now that you're that 4-5-5 demon in the lane, I mean, this is going to be fun. Surely Not. They are looking to still converge in again. Even though they lost that team fight, they've been able to manage very well with the warding game. They've been able to set themselves up for a proper stance. You can see the wards going out. You can see the complete coverage that they have around some of these global objectives. As we do apologize, there is a little bit of a technical issue here. This is clearly not giving up at all, saying, hey, it's 1 of 2 lost team fights. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it is just a 3k gold difference at the end of the day. 2 dragons apiece. This game could still go to either team, but it's just so scary looking at that team composition of XG Gnomes here. The Cassante is 9-0. How do you deal with him if you're surely not here?
I think for surely not. You have to play smart. You need to group up and you need to melt people one by one. And it sounds so easy and so dumb, but it's the truth. You have to take it one step at a time. You can't be splitting off. I think that's actually what's killing them. Is they split off for different kills. You see the Akali go for one and the Zaya go for another, and then the Sejuani's calling out for a third. You all need to be on the same page and make sure that you cut them down. As long as you take them out one by one, and even just a single kill, I think will shake the entirety of the Gnomes here as we're trying to get back in the game. Looks like we're headed up into a fight now. What in the world?
Yeah, I'd ask you the question, how to deal with the Cassante. Apparently this is how. Some little surely not magic going on, as they do end up picking up the huge shutdown onto Dwamni, and they're heading straight to that Baron.
Oh boy, that is powerful. You grab those kills, and we mentioned if they solo out one person, they win all the time. Technology and YouTube are just that strong. They are just that powerful at the current moment. And I mean, if it's just one, they can do it. Dwamni is down, that's fine. I really hope the Gnomes are not banking on the fact that, hey, we have to send Dwamni first and then we can follow up. They all need to be on the same page that Dwamni is strong. That's what they need to be thinking. They need to move forward and kind of throw their own weight around as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you think XG is going to contest this Baron here? They still got 2 of the carries ultimates up. You got some sums in there too. Do you think this Baron is okay to give, or do you have to try and contest them for it?
I don't think you have a choice. I mean, you're not really going to get anything. This is a problem. I mean, Zooey doesn't have smite. Obviously, Worm Jones is dead, so I think you have to give.
Yep, exactly. And we'll see if that's what they end up doing here. As, yeah, I'm not sure how quite they caught out Cassante. I think might have just been like mixed calls again, because when we did get a look at that team fight, it looked like Cassante was all the way in there and the rest of the team was just running away. So maybe just a good catch by Zohair with the Glacial Prison too.
Yeah, we're going to actually send it to a quick break, figure out what's going on here. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Apologies for the technical interruptions, but we got some breaking news. Surely not. They found a way. They killed the Cassante. They ended up snowballing it, and they have taken game one.
It was, I have a feeling, a very disastrous team fight at the end, and this kind of lines up with what we wanted to see. As I mentioned before, the Xayah may not be the strongest right now, but can output so much damage given the opportunity. Maybe I also am just completely wrong. Maybe Kaisa is just that OP. But considering how the game was being played and how we are watching the likes of the Gnomes play, they were kind of wandering in at different times, and that sharp spike really signals to me that surely not were ready. They were 100% ready to take a team fight, and they probably wiped the floor with it.
Yeah, and I think Technology, he played so well during the entire game, and I think it really came down to him in the end there. If you take a look at that gold graph, it looks like someone's just diving into the Bermuda Triangle at the end. It is just the sharpest edge to that game, and I think Technology, with that 52.5k damage, had a big part of why.
Yeah, I expect them to continue this run. Again, if the Xayah is going to start being that high priority champion, then sure, this is going to be that mainstay. However, the Yone didn't look too comfortable either, so there are little bits and pieces. Namely, though, Dwalm-Ni looked great in the top lane. If you want to give him a carry, go for it. That might be a winning combination. But at the current moment, some things have to change, especially with that bot lane for the Gnomes. That's what we're hoping for in game 2.
Yep, and we'll be back for hopefully a smoother game 2 right after a little break. We'll see you in a bit. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are on to game 2 of the series. Surely not. They ended up taking a very close and back and forth game, but we'll have to see what ends up going on in game 2 of the series.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very telling. Again, for a majority share of the game, it felt like the likes of the Gnomes were very much up and ahead. Actually, Gnomes had okay control of early game. We saw Dwam Neocores come out to a very extensive lead, and it seemed like the team fights were looking to roll their way later on, just kind of with gold. But the Xayah becoming such a power point for Surely Not. I have a feeling it might be banned if we're talking about the likes of before. Like this is going to be that taste, depending if that Xayah warrants a ban or not.
Yeah, and XG Gnomes actually decided to stay on the blue side. They want to try their hands at it again, and I think they did a good job, right? They had that Yone first pick. They got the Skarner, which has been a really big prio pick too. The draft was pretty good. Braum had a crazy start. I think they just gotta stabilize and pull it over to that finish line at the end.
And that comes from both mid, jungle, just about everywhere else. Dwamni did what they had to solo kill here and there, and then the punish from the jungle side, it worked well. It worked well, but you get a power pick like Yone, and you don't get the chance to smash lane. Even in the 1v1, you aren't able to kind of overwhelm. It worries me a little bit. Now, granted, the Yone isn't supposed to overwhelm an Akali that early on, but it still shows a little bit of maybe not as practiced on the champion. So we'll see if it stays or changes. I mean, the Gnomes are willing to stay on the blue side once again.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what bans end up coming out here. How is XG going to change around in this game's draft? You mentioned it, Orbital. That 16-4 Xayah in that last game. Surely that's going to be banned out, right?
So it can be or it can't be, depending on how you decide. If you say the Rakan was actually the issue, then the Rakan's the issue. Or if you think the Akali is a much larger factor, then you do decide for it. It's either the Xayah is the main prio, and it looks like it is, you go ahead and ban it away. Or you say, hey, there are some other things that enabled the Xayah to go forward. But as you can see, the Xayah is appropriately banned away, saying, yeah, we just don't want to let you have that one.
Two ADC bans back to back here, with the Xayah and the Ashe being taken out, and the Udyr and the Hui, same as last time, gonna be wrapping it up with that Syndra ban. So for primary reasons, gonna be staying the same type of bans this game around too, which means, will it be a Yone first pick once again?
Now that's up to the players. I think the Gnomes, I mean, you're hoping that there's a Yone ban here. And for Surely Not, they might go with the Corki once again and say, hey, the Yone wasn't that scary. We have an answer in the Akali. So if that's what they opt for, I don't dislike it. But for the Gnomes, it is a giant power pick. If you don't shadow ban it here, if you don't take it away from Surely Not, Surely Not's going to grab it as well. So yeah, you're kind of forced into it. I don't think Surely Not are worried at all about this.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not like you just can't pick it, because then Surely Not will have the Yone. So I think you just gotta take it away. As Surely Not's mid laner has plenty of games on the Yone as well. So we'll see if they end up keeping that draft kind of the same. Is the Akali gonna be that linchpin into the Yone?
Maybe wait a little bit longer. Don't give it away too quickly. You knew the Yone was coming out, but what are you gonna see next? Last time, I think we had a chance and a half. However, that is going to be a little bit of a mistake. We're gonna get eyes on which champion that actively is here in a sec. This is gonna take a little bit of time, I think, to get a read on it. So it is Gwen, I believe, is what we've just heard. So this is gonna be a shakeup again, blind picking that champion up on the top side, saying we don't have to worry about anything. That is a very interesting pickup, especially with the Cassante on the other side. There's the Sivir, though. This is what I mentioned before, saying Sivir ain't a bad ADC if you are looking to carry late game, but also bring a lot of mobility to your team.
Yeah, I think Sivir still a solid pick. Main weaknesses for the Sivir are that like scaling time, so maybe you want to look at trying to bully it in the early game. But yeah, the Gwen that early, that is crazy to see. Do you think that could just be countered or punished by picking it that early?
It's to be seen. At this point, I don't have proper words for it, mainly because the Gnomes have yet to excite me too much outside of Dwamni. I think. Now the J4, a lot more viability in terms of the quick engage tools, not that Skarner doesn't have to rely on getting to the wall. It's a much faster drag in, so I like it. And you also lock down that Sivir. Taking away the Seraphine is a quite surprising factor. You deny that poke and resilience from the Sivir, so I like it.
Yeah, and really interesting picks coming out. It seems like we're playing Fearless Draft or something other than this Yone, but no Skarner, no Sejuani. We got new junglers in the mix here. As what do you think about the Seraphine? As a character who's gone so many changes, you think it's a good pick here?
I think it's fine. I don't see any problem with it. This is the other thing I was scared of, though. With the Sylas locked in, this mid lane is underway, and YouTube played an exceptional game number one. Now, meaning that this could be, hey, you can't pick Alistar, you can't pick anything like that. I don't think the Seraphine is going in the mid, so I would assume this is support. But for surely not, you get your pick of the litter. Just about any other ultimates that Gnome bring to the table, YouTube will have priority over, which makes me very, very excited.
Yep, and now we're on to those second phase bans. It's going to be the Cassante taken off the board, and I am glad to see that. You cannot give Dwalm that champion after the kind of performance that he put on last time. And some other tops also just going to be taken left and right, the Aatrox, just like last time as well.
You got to focus the top side. I think it's very understandable that surely not are hard banning it out, especially since they picked up the Gwen before and it wasn't matched. So you're saying, yeah, this is definitely top lane. We got to ban it out. We can't let them get any good champions against it. So, you know, you take away some of the main tanks, you take away another of sorts. You're saying, hey, the Galio could come in, you could flex the Yone top side, and that would be your big call, which I'd also lean into. A Dwamni wants to carry that Yone to victory. For the Gnomes, though, I mean, it's a little bit of a question mark, because with that Gwen, that could be a Gwen jungle as well. So there's so many things kind of up in the air that we're sitting there going, is it going to happen?
Yeah, I feel like the two teams are in cahoots with each other or something, because you see the Gwen and then you still see the Aatrox ban on top of that. So with the Sylas also being shown, is this that Gwen jungle? As the Aurora, it was actually dropped from that ban list earlier. It does not end up being picked up, gonna be banned in the second phase.
I mean, it's still just raw power. Again, Aurora being a top lane monster is interesting in its own right. So we'll see what they decide to opt into. That Gwen could still be flexed out, but with the Sivir comes a lot of engage, and you can deny the J4 as well with that Magnustorm. The Rail was also banned out last time, so surely not getting that pickup, even though they banned it last time, saying, hey, we have it available, might as well grab it.
Yeah, and you got a pretty dive heavy draft so far for XG. We'll see what champions they can round it off with. And, you know, it's got to be there in the back of the mind. What ultimates are we giving Sylas? And they've got to make sure not to give him good ones. It's going to be the Vex.
Yep, so that Yone is pretty much assumed top side at this point. Dwamni gonna enjoy that one. And now we get to have that ADC. Last time around, you opted for that Kaisa, but with the Seraphine, this is my assumption. You go a little bit more long range. You could go something like the Caitlyn. You could go for a poke comp, or you could set the Seraphine APC and bring out another poke heavy support. Senna could be annoying, but I don't think it matches well with the Seraphine specifically. No. Is that a Vex support with an Akali mid? Gnomes are pulling out some spicy stuff.
Yeah, this can honestly be flexed so many ways here. And, you know, they like the Yone, they like the Akali, so they said, why can't we have both, right? As we're going to have to see. I'm so surely not is like, what is happening right now? Who's going where? They're going to try and figure out what kind of R5 they can use to round out this draft.
I mean, you can go early. Yeah, you can fight it out. You can duke it out with the Renekton, which I actually really, really like. You go for that early game. Granted, I'm not sure if it's fully going to work out, mainly because Dwamni won out so heavily, but this is already just early spice. These are low HP targets. I don't think anyone on the side of Gnomes is going to have a drastic amount of tank stats. So for surely not, you're like, hey, we can still duke, and even towards that mid to late, Renekton can still burst someone out. The main fault with Renekton, you don't have a lot of damage to chew through bruisers and tanks. For the Gnomes, there's not really a bruiser. Yone can be considered a bruiser, but pseudo, I mean, you're still pretty squishy at the end of the day. So surely not having a pretty bolstered mid to late rush through you, kill you off, and work your way from there. I like what they have.
Yeah, and we can analyze this all day, but we'll have to see how XG can pilot such a non-standard, non-conventional draft here. We're going to be back going into game 2 very, very soon, but we're going to take a little break with a word from our sponsor, ProComps. one, the much anticipated game 2 here. We've got a crazy draft from XG Gnomes walking onto the Rift here. Got some Seraphine Vex spicy bot lanes here. How do you think this is gonna go, Orbital?
I think this is gonna go either amazingly or terribly. Those are the two options here. Double AP can bring a lot of damage, a lot of poke, a lot of good strength, but can be easily itemized against. You go ahead and take a look on the other side. I mean, there's so much sustain through the YouTube and Zohair, well-known champions, the Sylas and Gwen, living for ridiculous amounts of time. And also, you don't have a dedicated ADC, so later on in the game, it's going to be a little bit difficult in these elongated battles to do some work. So for the Gnomes, I'm sitting there going, I hope that they're going to be able to come out on top here in the early stages, and I want to see them push their advantage, specifically Zui back on the Yone. But Dwamni also taking the Akali instead towards the top side with the Ignite as well. This is a huge, I want to say spicy angle. Dwamni basically saying, I can win top side and I'll carry from top side.
Yeah, that is such a crazy pick. Choosing to go Akali into the Renekton here. We'll have to see if Dwamni can pull off his usual magic, as Technology and Ire looking for a little bit of cheese at the start. Ire goes in onto Killua, lands the airborne as Technology is fleeing the scene. Killua with a huge pick onto him, but the electrocute from Keyshank does so much damage early on. You know, you just don't expect that coming out in a usual bot lane brawl.
Nope. This is just one of those moments where it's just like, dang, okay, that's gonna be a very, very you know, it's gonna be a reoccurring theme. I think IRA and Technology looking to get the burst down on some of these switcher champions, and honestly, it can go back and forth. As we mentioned early on, double AP brings out a lot of damage, but you can start forcing out the mana. Killua and Qi Jing might not have that easy access, and you're also giving a lot of HP to Technology as well with that spell shield.
Yeah, and I personally haven't seen a Vex support before, but it seems to hurt quite a bit with the damage so far. Is this basically just like a poke lane, or what does Vex really offer from a support role?
Mostly damage. That's really it. You're just looking to rock out the damage as much as possible. You can do a denial tool with that W. You can do with the shield. She gets a fear every so often on a dash or jump in. That's why Vex was really created, is to be a stalwart defense against the likes of assassins. But again, I don't know about the scaling factor without items in there. Of course, in the mid lane, Zui's having a much better time against YouTube in that kind of challenge.
Yeah, as Ira using the jump defensively here, trying to deal with all this poke, as, yeah, Zui doing a much better job in the mid lane this time. Sylas doesn't have that same damage potential before he gets all his abilities, and Zui is taking charge. Let's see if he can have a better performance than that last game. Show why people are really scared of that Yone.
It's one of those that you're hoping that they have a fantastic time. And not only that, Zui also going up against YouTube, who went with the electrocute, signals a little bit more early game. So if you're winning out on the Yone early like this, that's actually a huge boon for you. Late game, the Sylas isn't going to be able to survive as long. You're not going to see that, you know, carry for forever style. It's going to be that hard-hitting AP. It's that I'm going to blow you up in one fell swoop, and if I don't, well, I'm kind of in trouble type of Sylas play.
Yep, and with the junglers pathing away from each other, we get a pretty chill game for now, other than the constant fights back and forth in every lane, honestly. But yeah, how do you think this Gwen versus Jarvan goes? You know, with such a peaceful game, I feel like Gwen really wants this, right?
You want to skill up and you want to join in on a lane that's feeling a little bit rough, so maybe in the mid lane, really it's on Worm Jones to actually apply that pressure, apply that damage.
Yeah, and great trades once again. YouTube is playing on the edge of his limits here. He does have the TP in case he wants to back, but the level up is going to help out with the pot as well for the region.
Right now, though, YouTube looking to try and dance in and out of damage range and just trying to get that fearsome opponent down. LeChosen, though, doing the exact same.
Yeah, LeChosen is also falling down, as Akali seems to be really doing well, as Dwam, I think, is just crazy at this video game, as he's up 20 CS right now. Renekton will recover a bit with that big crashing wave, but Akali does have the CS lead here.
I think this is to be expected. Dwamni identifies that no matter what champions are brought to the table, if you can basically say, hey, look, I am the stronger one here, I'm going to play like I'm stronger, I think that's very, very appropriate. But it's just Dwamni, no matter what, you feel like you are going to be that winner. But on the bot side, this is the difference.
Yeah, Iray, the dash gets canceled by the Vex Sphere as Killua, he's ignited, but he can easily get away. The Ignite being burned for the flash from Killua here. So overall, a pretty good trade, but they're quite chunked out. Keisheng is just dealing so much damage already.
And this is what we were talking about, that fear potential. Every time there is a leap in, every time there is a dash or flash or anything like that, the Vex fear will proc, I believe, as long as it's within a certain range, of course. And that's what they're actually utilizing to their advantage. Doesn't matter if you're going to deny it, but now there's a jump in on the top side.
Yeah, the Chosen Goat has the ultimate, and Dwamni going in with his. Worm Jones
Oh
is so
my God.
He's instantly blown up, but the trade back and forth is now Dwamni versus Zohair. The stacks are ready as the Zohair snips the enemy, but Dwamni should be able to get out as now YouTube is going in. The Soul is unbound, and the Yone is dead as YouTube with a solo kill out of nowhere.
I mean, that's huge. 2 kills going into unexpected places. Remember, LeChosen was actually the one that got the first blood. YouTube now running the show in the mid lane as well still leads us to the fact that YouTube is going to be that mainstay mid lane player, but Zui making it a lot closer makes us quite happy. But for LeChosen, that was a breath of fresh air. You still died, don't get me wrong, but the wave is in a really good spot for yourself. You take a look, I think it's going to press back towards you if you let it crash properly, and you can catch up on the CS numbers.
Yeah, great for him here, as you know, I just love how volatile these lanes are so far. Everyone is just going in back and forth, but for now, with that lane prio, it's gonna be Worm Jones finishing up that dragon.
I think with that dragon as well, the Gnomes are going to try and push forward, and honestly, I'm really scared. Mainly because for a J4, you want to get ahead early, you want to be ganking lanes, you want to be affecting. Your damage scales, your damage scaling falls off pretty heavily towards the mid to late, especially compared to the likes of a Gwen. So if you're not affecting the lanes early, you're really hoping for that one kind of a big bang moment. And if you don't have it, you're in a rough position. So far, with your first gank leading to first blood to LeChosen, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for the Jarvan, and I feel like it's kind of a mindset thing too, right? You gotta think, oh, I gotta get an impact now or later, as Frey's going in once again in the top and mid lane, as Zui actually forcing the flash out of YouTube, scared of the Fated Seal coming in after the knockup.
It was a preemptive strike in that value, so Zui gets a free summoner spell, and without burning the ultimate at all, it's going to help out a lot. I think this is going to be one of those situations where YouTube now has to play safe until Zohair joins in, because you have to understand that Worm Jones might be joining you in the mid lane. As soon as that flash goes down, like, Worm Jones should be looking towards that mid lane.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, so many times we've gone into that top lane, we see LeChosen go trying to go in, but Dwam just disappears into the shroud, kites it out perfectly, and doesn't let the stun go off at all. He's playing this matchup to perfection.
I mean, after that first blood and then the kill given back over, you do want to keep a handle on things. You're respecting the damage output of a Renekton that you did push into a corner. So at the current moment, I think it's a respectful play. Of course, it's not crashing in the tower as much as you would like. LeChosen is getting a little bit more emboldened in this instance, but this is still a very dangerous factor. Dwamni, though, as you said, playing the spacing game very, very well, which is why I think Zohair might be looking at that top side to alleviate some of the pressure.
Yeah, and if Zohair once again just gets some more impact than Jarvan, I think it just feels so rough for him. But Worm Jones looking to see if he can make something happen on the super low Yone here. Nothing so far, though. Oh, Iray gets the stun. Not really going to follow up. That wave is just in such a good spot. I don't think they want to fight.
Yeah, I think Technology really enjoyed this one and said, hey, I want the farm. Remember, as a Sivir, you don't spike until late game. You know, Killua and Qi Jing are just looking to try and power down, but this is going to be the dive.
Yeah, Worm Jones going in, gets the slam. The Chosen Goat not able to respond at all as Zohair coming in, burns the ultimate,
take a look at
he
YouTube.
can get something in back. Dwamni hiding in the shroud, not giving anything, but YouTube from behind here. The Silas taking the Akali ult, doing so much work, picks up the kill onto Dwamni. Worm Jones does end up getting out for himself, though.
I think that's an okay trade for Dwamni. Your lane opponent is the main one that you're watching for. Of course, in the mid lane, YouTube. I mean, YouTube's happy and Zui's like, dang, that sucks. I'm now 0-1 and 0 even CS, but my lane opponent has 2 kills up and already has a Dark Seal stacking. this is gonna hurt. Like, this is going to suck for Zooey, who even in game 1 had a little bit of a struggle because YouTube is also a dominating mid laner here. So at the current moment, YouTube is just sitting there going, I'm happy. I have all the power in the world. I have the Hextech alternator. I'm ready to burst out some opponents. And even then, take a look at Chosen holding it down in the mid lane a little bit to wrap some of the farm, considering Dwamni has a way pushed to their own tower.
Yeah, and it's just so hard for Zooey to play into Renekton. The stun goes in. Ira coming in from the side. Zooey is able to get stunned, but not too much follow-up going in after.
Nah, I mean, you don't want to die of that. Zooey still has a flash available, so if anything goes wrong, it's not a good one. Over the wall, though, goes Zohair. And this is spicy, because take a look at where Worm Jones is. YouTube is going to run up front and center. And this is going to be the challenge. Take a look. A dance in the mid and in jungle.
Yeah, Zohair caught doing the grubs as Worm Jones and Dwamni are onto him. He cannot get out as he gets punished for solo starting the grubs. He ends up going down. That's another kill to Dwamni.
This is a problem. This is a hefty problem here. Dwamni and Worm Jones once again taking control of this top side, which is what they did in game number 1. Keep that in mind. Here's the difference. Dwamni, the Akali, is going to look fantastic late game. I was wondering how it was going to play out, especially with the 1-for-1 trades, but Dwamni once again shows that they know how to execute. They know how to play to their own advantages. And considering the Cassante and the Akali differences, Dwamni is going to catch Technology way easier. It's going to catch YouTube way easier. It's going to catch Zohair way easier.
Yeah, and I think Dwamni is just a great person to have the kills on, as Kisheng just not allowing the Rel to play the game. Basically another Poppy over here with the Vex pick. It's just so good. I did not see this coming.
It's a very unique pick as well. Keep in mind, though, for the Gnomes, they need to start pushing this advantage that they have with Dwam. You're essentially running a triple AP composition, and it's not going to look good come the late game. I would expect to see, you know, some magic resist come out very quickly. In any of the teammates, you essentially cut down the opponent into having to purchase the magic penetration early instead of spiking for damage outright. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. Holy moly, the tower helped out!
Oh my god, the tower shot. Dwamni is sad as the crocodile finally is able to grab the ninja and ends up picking up the kill. As a TP coming out from YouTube, gonna see if he can make something happen onto Zooey pushing out the wave. He grabs the faded seal. Oh, the chains barely don't land. The ultimate is whiffed as well. And now Zooey running for his life. Ira is here though as he stomps down upon him and Zooey goes down.
This is starting to look like a powerful game for Shirley. Not just that, the Dragons roar in approval as well. Mountain 1, Cloud 1, and Infernal to play later. This is just bolstering the likes of team fights, the likes of just run at the opponent, see what damage you can do.
Yeah, and now YouTube is getting really scary with the picks he's been picking up here. And you're just so squishy on the other side that I feel like Silas can really just run rampant in this game.
I think it's going to be more than that. I think it's not just rampant. Rampant implies that you're just unleashed. I think YouTube is leashing themselves in terms of how they're going to play this. They're going to be hunting specifically for Killua and Qi Jing, just saying, we are going to get those kills. We are going to kill you off, and we're going to deny any extra. And Dwamni also now realizing that maybe this top side is not as safe. It's turning into kind of that skillful brawl situation.
Yeah, now that Renekton has the Eclipse, the shields help out with the traits so well. And you can see he's already itemizing into some MR, which is going to help so much into 3 of the enemy members, and even some of the magic damage that comes out from the Yone passive too. Not
only that, Technology is also, I was wondering about this one, the Cole coming in, just saying, I'm going to farm up as much as possible. You are going for late game activation. Zohair, though, seeing the hair of Dwamni at the very end. You're still safe. You're still fine. However, an invasion now leaves Worm Jones a little bit high and dry.
Yeah, he does pick up the ultimate. The hijack is there, but Zohair's ult does not land. So just gonna be taking the invade, picking up the wolves. Zooey and Worm Jones,
he got both
upon as the crocodile is in the death circle. They're waiting for Zooey to return to his soul. But now here comes Kisheng. It's a math fest in the middle. The Jarvan ult is the battle cage, the arena, and in the end, it's gonna be
no!
Huge collapse from Iray. He's gonna be the one left. Can he pick up the kill onto Dwomni too? No ignite. It's coming up in like 10 seconds. Dwomni going back in for the kill here. A little bit of CC to stall. It's so low. The ignite's almost up. Dwomni, one more Q, one more auto. He's almost there. Iray gets the stomp down, gets the stun after one more hit. He gets it.
Iray with the support plays in a dream. Not just that, surely not. Throwing everything to the wind. They got caught out there. Let's call it for what it was. They were caught. They should have died. That was a cataclysm used to lock down both Worm Jones and Zooey. They turned it around. Gnomes should have had that dead to rights, but a little bit of extra gold, and Iray coming in like a superhero, saying, yo, it is perfect. It was so well done. Even getting the ignite at the end means Gnomes lost out so heavily in that trade.
Yeah, that was just such a fit fiesta, and I want to say Zooey's faded seal there was so good. I think did he get like 3 or 4 people, as now he's looking to replicate those results, but gonna have to return to his soul for now.
A huge part of that, yeah, Zooey is doing a lot better than I feel like in previous, but still pretty rough. 1, 3, and 2 is not a scoreline that you enjoy. Worm Jones for their own though, on the J4 has looked a little bit more rough. The Skarner, I think, had a lot more impact come game 1. Very much in the face, always able to fight, but J4 is squishier. I hate saying it. You're not going to enjoy that. Worm Jones 0-2 and 6, and now Zooey really can't get away here.
Yeah, there's just so much CC coming out from both of them. He does some meaningful damage onto the Chosen Goat though. Has the 3rd mark. Can he land it onto both of them? He cannot really run anywhere. He's stuck in the bush, but they patiently waited for the cooldowns and ended up finishing it off.
And now we're seeing Surely Not become that monster squad. Remember, for them, they have a much better damage threshold. Their damage numbers are split very evenly. YouTube, of course, going for the AP build, but 2 AP and 3 AD feels a lot better than triple AP. I will swear by that forever. Like, this just... It doesn't feel good. Gnomes will not enjoy what's coming next. You're going to start seeing that MR come to be built out. You're going to see that safety being built on either end, and it's going to feel rough. And I mean, YouTube though is going to have a freaking field day in this instance. What a flash! That wasn't flash. I lied. I thought that was a flash for some reason. Nah, that was just technology like sidestepping.
Yeah, and oh my god, the Silas is 5-1, by the way. He's got a needlessly large rod already. Once he finishes the 2 items, I think he's just going to start one-shotting people.
Yeah, this is just... Yeah, I mean, honestly, surely not. One of the reasons that I think we saw them before is they definitely have the skill. It was closing out some of the games. It's like they don't know what to do. And I'm curious to see, again, we didn't get to see the end of game 1. I want to see how they play this out. I want to see how well they clean it up. It looks like they're going pretty hard at this, actually.
Yeah, the Rift Herald is going to be helping out with the dive here as the reinforcements are coming. So they're going to end up backing off here. Just going to get that Rift Herald charge.
I kind of like that they looked at the attempt. I mentioned that, hey, you know, sometimes teams have trouble, you know, kind of pushing their lead, and they do have a lead by about 2K. But I like the thought, hey, you're trying to make a play. You're trying to get a little bit spicy with it by putting that Herald down, diving a very, very lone Seraphine. But with backup, they wisely called off. And now Worm Jones in their own looking for a chance. They were the ones that actually itemized heavily into that MR. You take a look, the Hex Drinker plus the Merches. Worm Jones is like, there's only 2 members that are really scary, and that's YouTube and Zohair.
Yeah, exactly. So great itemization there coming in. But now we're going to see a little trap being let by Worm Jones here, seeing if he can counter gank. But oh my god, the boomerangs just landing so many times onto Killua as YouTube with great trades here with Zoe here. Zooey, oh, he gets the last Q, but ends up going back. No kill to be found on either side.
I think YouTube thought that they could duel this out, but it actually puts Zooey in a really, really rough spot. Take a look, LaChosen, as soon as Zooey decides to step back, might be in trouble. But it is going to be safe with the healing coming out of that Bork. It's going to be a nice stance. Oh no, Iray though.
Yeah, Worm Jones is in. He's been waiting 2 minutes for this as the Encore Flash is flashed by technology, but now he can't get out of the Cataclysm. The Shadow Surge coming in, technology goes down. Now Worm Jones barely living ends up going down. Iray being traded back and forth. Now Keychain gonna be ending flashing out, but here comes YouTube. The needlework lands and so do the chains. The Crocodile is here. And Killua and Zooey are running for their life, and they will get out for now.
My gosh, that was far scarier than I thought. Honestly, with how far they dragged it, I was wondering if Gnomes are actually going to go for it, but they do. They pull the trigger so fast and they pull it long, and now they're going to try and dive?
Yeah, Zooey with the faded seal. Beautiful moves coming out, but he's going to end up paying with his life. And now Dwomni in the shroud. Can he find Zohair? He finds YouTube. Zohair hit the sliver of HP, goes down to a strike, and now the Chosen Goat in a 1v2. Gonna end up running away for now. Dwomni gets stunned back, but I don't think, yeah, he should be out.
I like how this is turning into who can carry better after the fight happens. This is Dwomni and LeChosen coming in at the last moments, and honestly, these early fights are looking messy. Early on, Worm Jones dives in, tries to fight it out, and ends up, pinstring him in. Puts the rest of the team in a really, really rough spot. You saw the value that was coming out in terms of that damage output. You know Zohair can do a lot of work, but thankfully, everyone was split on Surely Not. Everyone was split. They came in trickling one by one, and YouTube wasn't able to grab a good ult, grab the Encore. I thought they were going to fight it earlier, but then chose to try and tower dive with it. Gnomes got away with the fact that that didn't turn out even worse for them. But you can see the aggression. You can see in their eyes that they understand that their time is running out. So I like the fact that they went for it. I want to just see it more concise. I want to see it with everyone behind them.
Yeah, as the Chosen Goat going in for another trade, but Zooey, he's got the Blade of the Rune King, so now he wants this fight. The Chosen Goat popping the ultimate. Can he win? It's going to be a matter of who can sustain each other. Zooey ends up going down.
And this is what I expected. Unfortunately, Zooey, you're not as strong as you would hope you are, but it was close. A 1 in 5 with only an item and a half, taking on LeChosen, who was an item and a half as well, but I would say a little bit higher in the level department. This is a much different story. Now Ira in trouble.
Yeah, he's caught out here as there's 3 people on top of him. Duon burning the ultimate as the Magnet Storm doesn't really help out here. The perfect execution ends up picking up the kill. But now Zohair coming in for the counter engage as everyone's running for their life. But it's kind of just him, not really anyone with him. Technology doesn't do too much just yet. This Sivir needs to scale, so going to be nothing for now as a blue turret is destroyed in the top lane.
I like that though. Gnomes, this is what I was talking about. Start grouping up, start trying to force your hand. You get 1 kill, you got Ira. Yes, you gave up a tower on the top side, but you're starting to work together. That's what we need to see. This is what the composition is made for. Because your entire comp is burst. Outside of Zooey, you are just a burst comp with the AP. You don't get to elongate the team fight, because as soon as you do, you allow Zohair and YouTube to start getting those free procs, getting that HP back, and letting Technology start to roll over you. Technology has quietly farmed up a 215 CS, highest in the game right now by a fair margin, plus the cold finish. That's 2.5 items. Those boomerangs will hurt. So at the current moment, Gnomes are looking for picks. If you team fight outright, I do not favor your chances.
Yeah, and I just know there's going to be a fiesta of a team fight coming in. As the Chosen Goat, he's excited to get that party started. Gonna get that push in the bot lane and join his team as the Dragon is spawned and instantly gets started by Surely Not.
I don't think you can contest. The Gnomes realize that and they have to back away, and it hurts. It is Infernals. That's 2. That is a bolst to a massive damage output. Take a look. 2.5 items for a few people. That sucks to see that happen. Oh, Zooey, I don't know if you win this.
Yeah, Zooey actually wants to go back in. YouTube with the flash. It's being dodged by each other. No one's fate is sealed, but it might be Zohair's instead as he ends up going down to Worm Jones. As now Zooey is on the hunt. Abilities being dodged left and right, and he unbounds the soul to pick up the kill. But right back down to the bot lane. Now Ira is in a little bit of trouble, stuck in between a rock and a hard place, and ends up going down.
Scary, scary stuff here. I'm excited. This is gonna be good. Oh boy. I'm just, again, there are little pieces here and there that we are seeing the likes of Gnomes really pop off in certain scenarios, and specifically Zooey coming online with the champion that we thought was going to be that big playmaker in game 1. Unfortunately it fell. This time around, starting to win out against some of the high priority players. Chosen, you're not gonna get this, are you?
I mean, there's no jungler. They're looking down on it. It's gonna end up going down. A great Baron sneak by XG to pull them right back into this game.
All right. Baron versus Power. That's all I'm gonna say here. This is Baron versus Power. Still Surely Not had the damage thresholds, but the gold is obviously a little bit closer. The next thing is going to be this upcoming dragon. The soul is going to be played for. Gnomes have to be careful on how they engage, but they found the right calls. And honestly, it's been Qi Jing finding those power points, finding those engagements with this unconventional Vex support. I really hope it works out.
Yeah, Storm Surge Zanya's Vex support. It is a crazy sight to behold, and it's a gamble that XG Gnomes will have to rely on to win this game. But yeah, you know, you got Sivir just scaling up this entire time as well. That fight in the jungle near mid lane, she was farming plates bottom turret. That fight in the bot lane, she was getting mid tower for herself. I think when Sivir hits this 3-item mark, it's gonna be finally online, and Technology can do what he did last game.
Mm-hmm. Right now, though, the setup is the main thing. And honestly, you can see how these teams are just like, okay, we don't want to make any mistake until this upcoming dragon. And for surely not, it's not the worst thing in the world. You're saying, hey, we're still pretty strong. We can do whatever, but we just don't want to take that chance. We're starting to get to that point where you have to respect everyone's damage output. So you're playing it a lot safer and a lot smarter. Iray specifically trying not to get caught out like they have done the last few times, especially with the Baron up.
Yeah, this Baron's so great, but now Worm Jones is getting collapsed upon. This Jarvan is still so squishy. Technology is pushing the team forward. Dwami
what a crash!
But there's so much CC on the side. The Encore doesn't really land. Shroud. And Dwam goes down.
There was no Shroud. Oh, mistakes happen, and now you leave the rest of the team to just get chewed up. Surely not found an opportunity and are taking it in stride.
Yeah, I don't know whose Baron power play it is, because surely not are now marching down mid lane, taking a tower one by one. Keesing, can the Vex support do anything? Not really much at this point. They have CC but no damage as Iray's looking for more. The inhib is next on the table.
Honestly, I want them to take this inhib and run. Dragon is up in a minute and a half. You can't give this one away. You really don't want to give it over, and Iray is going to peel off looking at Qi Jing.
Yeah, great stall by him so far. Great flash to get out as well. They're really just delaying. It is Infernal Soul coming up in about a minute.
Oh, there's a TP coming in though. They want revenge. Gnomes want to route this, and I don't know if Zwamni has any support.
Yeah, Technology is in trouble. Jones has his eyes on target. Zuri flashing in as well. Technology gonna end up going down, as on the other side, so is Iray. Great Magnus.
Where's YouTube?
But just YouTube is not in this fight. He's finally arrived, but is it too little too late? He picks up one. The fate of the three. YouTube is popping off in this fight. Gets hit by the Encore, but yeah, you know, he tried his best there, but he was just too little too late.
I don't know what was going through their minds. I feel like you could have pressed out. I don't think you had to be scared of Zwamni as much, but they allowed themselves to get corralled, and YouTube was nowhere in the vicinity, didn't want to burn TP either. And they get ace for it, which now puts them in terrible position for this dragon. Thankfully, it's not Soul. But I think surely not. They're still going to challenge, by the way. I think they still have time because the Chosen and YouTube both had TP. But this is going to be spicy. 100%, this is going to be that kind of defining moment. Gnomes, they want to take this dragon and they want to take it quickly. They should be able to. Will it go cleanly? I don't know.
I mean, they don't have that DPS, right? How quickly can they really take this dragon, as Surely Not is coming in with TPs? And yeah, I think they can start it, but I do not think they can finish in time. I think we're just going to get another banger of a fight once again.
Well, this collapse is a whole different story, and that's the Vexel down.
Yeah, YouTube and Zui doing some good trades back here.
Oh no!
Great flash by using Zui gets the kill onto YouTube. The 8-kill Silas is now down.
That's a problem. Like, that is disastrous. You get back right into a fight. You thought you could take a 1v1, but at this point it's a bait. Zohair's checking, but this dragon is already down, I think.
Yeah, and now the dominant pawns are going in. Zui is doing so much damage as Yone has scaled up, and Zohair is down, and it's gonna be Worm Jones picking up the kill onto the dragon. Technology, no flash, can't go anywhere. The Chosen go looking for Killua, cannot find him as he gets kited out, and Killua gets the kill.
What did I say? This comp is not made for elongated team fights. They are made for bursts and runs, and that's exactly what they do. They hit YouTube, knock him out of the game. They hit Zohair, knock him out of the game. They annihilate Technology, knock him out of the game, and then they chase La Chosen down. This comp is made for quick burst, accelerated, guerrilla style fights, and they're playing it to perfection. And then allowing Zui to kind of clean up. YouTube, I don't know if you want to be here.
Yeah, YouTube almost killing Zooey. Gonna be popping the Zanyas, but there's teams waiting for him, and he's gonna end up going down once again. Ira with a great Magnet Storm, but there's no damage around him, and he's gonna get one kill for his troubles, but he's gonna end up going down once again to Dwamni in parallel with that turret as well.
Zero reason to be there. Surely not. You didn't need to defend that tower. They're not low enough that you can be worried, and you have to respect the Vex at this point. I'm not sure what that was for. You just gave like extra 600 gold over. Surely not playing with too much fire, because now you're not in control. Take a look at the gold lead. It's vastly different now. You're looking at about a 2k lead for the Gnomes. Take a look at where that damage prio is as well. Every single major lane is already up. The only one not is Zohair. Zohair is the only one up on their side. Everyone else on the side of the Gnomes is ahead, and surely not cannot see that. They will surely not win this game.
Yeah, and I feel like they just need a good structured team fight where they can play front to back, but XG Gnomes have been doing such a great job of catching them off guard with the TP flanks, the random collapses, and of course surely not just being in places where they shouldn't be.
I think right now surely not have to realize that they have to play this so smoothly, and they are trying to hit level 16. They want Zohair on level 16, get that damage output, and not to get caught. I think their eyes are going to be looking at that Vex. How quickly can we catch Vex, blow them up, and deny that denial tool? That Baron is going to be that big call down. How do we enter this fight? Do we enter it properly? And do we allow Technology to actually output damage? Remember, Technology has actually been one of the champions that the Gnomes have opted to chase after every single time. Rightfully so. But if Technology can output damage, all of a sudden, things look vastly different.
Yeah, and I think having the flash up is such a signature thing that you can just get out of the Cataclysm or the Fated Seal. It is almost back up for Technology, and I think it just allows him to actually be playable in fights. So I think it's going to have a much easier time in this next upcoming drag fight or something.
Not only that, I will say one of the other sides of the coin, Gnomes I'm not giving enough credit for, but they have a lot of healing in there as well. They've been able to sustain. I mean, that's what Seraphine does best, but you also look at Zooey, you look at the likes of Dwamni, they all have some sort of innate safety and safekeeping and the healing to come out. I'd like to see surely not pick up some sort of grievous wounds, especially on the likes of the Seraphine. You want to deal with it in the Yone. It will help to try and burst someone out. Will it work? I'm not sure, and I don't think anyone on their side wants to pick it up. I don't think anyone can proc it very easily.
Yeah, and we've kind of been talking a lot about this game of how they're very magic heavy, and magic pen or magic resist can be built up, and we honestly hadn't really seen anything of that other than the Merc Treads, but now finally the Chosen Goat has picked up the Spectre's Cowl, itemizing into that MR as Ire. He's on the hunt, he gets spotted, he's gonna have to dip for now.
I mean, this is a dance around the Baron. Surely not, just trying to make sure that they have full control, and I like it. Technology just clearing waves back and forth, and that's the great thing about Sivir. Even if you're in a rough spot, the Sivir is going to wave clear all day long. The boomerangs are just going to be a pain in the butt, and you're not going to have freedom. I'm actually looking at that bot side. Which way that lane leans will determine and who gets the better position. But in a minute, we're actually stalling out around the Baron. Dragon is going to be up, and that's the next big play. Remember, surely not still sitting on Soul Point. That could be a game changer.
Yeah, all of Surely Not's vision is still in that top side, so they gotta move over. You see Ire picking up the bag, recharging those wards, and he's gonna come get vision in that bot side. And I think that's so paramount to not being flanked, to keeping Technology safe and not being just bursted out by the enemy team.
Right now, Technology getting left alone here, and I'm a little bit scared. Dwamni also sitting at 3.5 items, 4 items really, if you count the Magi Soul Stealer. So this is hard burst damage right now, and surely not. I mean, you can itemize into that safety as you were mentioning there, Karthik, but this dragon is going to be oh so close. No way, Ira, you're caught once again?
Yeah, and now will the Shadow Surge come out from Kijing? Yes, it is. They're looking onto Ire, caught out by himself. And yup, enemy team's going on to Baron as Ire, he's just looking to stall as much as possible. He's running on the horse, but the mount goes down. But on the other side, the Baron is going down just as fast, and there's nothing else you can do about it.
Actually, they might want to take a little bit of extra damage and try and find Zooey's life.
Yeah, YouTube looking onto Zooey here. Zooey cannot run, he cannot hide. Great Fated Seal, but he cannot do anything as he ends up going down. Great pick on the other side.
As much as I enjoyed that, they do give over Dragon, which puts us at Soul Point versus Soul Point. Do I enjoy that fact? Absolutely not. I would have liked to see you know, a collapse on this dragon. I would have liked to see, you know, you give up Zui kill to chase after this dragon and force him, because you already know that you have a little bit of power on the bot side. But I get it. You know, you lost out on your support. You're not going to get that freedom. You don't want to take that chance of a 5v4 situation. So fair enough. The Baron call, very, very good either way, which now puts a lot of weight onto YouTube and Chosen's hands. They can split push on the side 1-3-1 and then look to angle into the jungle, or they can look to 1-4, group up and just hard push down. Remember, they still have an open inhib in the mid lane.
And I think Technology was listening to what you said, because he has now picked up a full mortal reminder. This is that 4-item Sivir that all the tales have been telling about. The 300 CS 4 items. This is where Sivir has to carry these fights. She's been scaling up the entire game for this moment.
Oh, man. 100%. You're just like, yeah, let's see what can be done. Of course, they're still in a 5v4 situation. They have to get Technology with them. Technology is always alone, by the way. This is not what you want an ADC to do. You want an ADC with you as you roam, and you don't want them to roam alone, or else you get picked off by the likes of Nikali.
Yeah, Dwamni looking for damage onto Ira, but the Chosen Goat is going to make sure that his support gets out safe this time. Oh, but now he has to flash away. The Shadow Surge coming in. They're collapsing on top of him. The Encore is great. The Goat is in trouble. Ira with great CC. It's a death ball in the Cataclysm, but both of them just end up going down. Double kill to Killua.
This is now the 4th or 5th time that they've just been randomly caught, and I really don't like it. Now they're going to try and chance back. I don't like this.
Yeah, Kissing trying to go in, but now, oh my god, Kissing is gone. Double kill for Technology. They're wrapping up the fight as YouTube is in the thick, but Zui looking onto Technology at the same time. Kills going over left and right, and it's going to be YouTube versus Zui. Battle of the mid laners with Dwam on the side. The Zhonya's does not get capitalized upon, and now Zui looking for the 3rd strike to flash to secure it, and Zui picks up the kill.
I do not understand. Surely not. Basically gifting kills left and right. Let's Chosen getting caught in mid, and then the rest of the team trying to follow up. It does not work that way. And the Gnomes properly adjusting, taking advantage of these mistakes, and now utilizing a fully powered up Yone, taking over the game. Dwamni 12, 4, and 10, by the way. Another stalwart powerhouse in that top lane. Disgusting work by the solo laners of the XG Gnomes.
Yeah, Zui has really been popping off in these last few team fights too. He's done a great job getting amazing ultimates every time too. And yeah, this Yone, he's also picked up a force of nature, so isn't just gonna be one shot by YouTube anymore. And yeah, man, I don't know, what can I say? Just group up, surely not. Just have a fight together.
I mean, I just want them to all be willing to go in. They have the strength. Remember, I think they have the strength, but every time they start a fight, they're down a man. We need to see them group up, but we need to see Ira not take a chunk early on. You are sitting at about 2.5. I understand you're a little bit lower. You got to stand up front, but you got to stay with the team. And honestly, it's difficult. I get that it's hard. The composition is not made to be an Ira-centric engaged tool. But LeChosen ain't going in. LeChosen can't. I mean, you're Renekton, you don't have flash. Once you have flash, maybe. Zohair needs a good angle. YouTube could maybe start it up. You have Zanya, so you can make a play. But so far, the last 4 or 5 team fights, surely have not had a clean fight. Instead, they have been fighting for scraps, and the scraps no longer sate them. They need a full team fight. They need to group up. But the Gnomes, of course, just saying, we don't care. We're going to slowly build up our econ once again. Fully buy out everything, by the way. A lot of them hitting a max itemization.
Yeah, and we're slowly leading up to it. The climax of this game. Both teams on Infernal Soul point here. The gold lead is basically even. It's all going to come down to execution. Who's going to end up picking up the Infernal Soul, which makes such a big difference in this game.
I hate that it has come down to this. I said it earlier that I dislike that give, but this is why. You can see the hard collapse coming in. Gnomes really want to find a catch.
Yeah, they're so scared of the collapse now that Technology is just pre-popping the ultimate just to make sure that something similar doesn't happen again. But they're doing a better job of just grouping up together now.
They really are, and they're being forced to. You can actually see LeChosen Goat staying very, very far behind, ensuring that, hey, I'm available to TP with full HP. Recall, though, by Zui, who is full HP and full damage, by the way. Well, 3-item damage plus a Randuin's plus a Force of Nature. Having that safety in the back pocket means you are going to catch whoever you want and try to cut them down. So let's take a look and see what else they're going to play for. I don't think LeChosen was able to complete their items, so Difficult times abound, but they're giving a lot of ground. I'm not sure I like this. Surely not need to get in, but for XG Gnomes, this is looking great to push for a game 3.
Yeah, and they're going to be looking to come from this bot side while surely not have control of the mid side. The battle lines have been drawn and the dragon has begun.
YouTube, where are you going, buddy? We need you here early. We can't be TPing in. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, and now Worm Jones looking to go in, knowing that it's a 5v4. Keating with the engage. The Cataclysm is popped. The Encore is landed. And just like that, Technology is down. And the Chosen is down. YouTube has finally arrived. The Encore landing onto 3 people, but Zahoya
oh my gosh, YouTube.
YouTube, he's just finally arrived and he's making his impact. He's still full HP. Ire with a little bit of stun for the health. This has to be a pentakill for him to win this fight. But for now, it's going to be the Infernal Soul going over to XG.
I understand inhibitor is important, but why are you not there in a 5v5 for Infernal Soul? Of all things, that is the most important thing on the map. YouTube, I hate saying it, but these little mistakes are starting to pile up. It doesn't matter if you chase Worm Jones. It doesn't matter if you kill him. They got Soul. Infernal Soul, of all things. This is just a consolation prize. You're not even going to get that. YouTube trying to chase Flash out. It is painful watching this right now. Surely not have had opportunities to force a lead for themselves. The fact that it is only 1k difference right now feels criminal. XG Gnomes have gotten a massive boost to their damage output this next Baron. As long as they play it appropriately, as they have been the last few minutes, I don't see them losing.
Yeah, their execution has just been way better, and you know, it just makes me so sad. YouTube did so much work after he came in, but if he was there from the start, imagine if there was a Sivir to follow up on his damage. As now Ire is going to be collapsed upon, but YouTube going in with them. It's going to be another skirmish in the mid lane, but Technology is here. It's going to be Jarvan going down and Keating going down, and now it's going to be a 5-on-3. The inhibitor's down in the mid lane. Great snare there, but they're going to be turning back onto the Baron, going to play it safe.
What is this game with everyone catching everyone else? Like, I just said, XG Gnomes, you win if you play like you have been, which is not getting caught, playing with the rest of the team, ensuring that you group up and fight player advantage fights, meaning you have more champions than they do. You wandered into a blind fog and said, hey, let's try and set them up. YouTube still has damage. This is the point where little mistakes will cost you the game. I thought XG were going to be a lot better in this instance with the Infernal Soul. After that loss of 2, I cannot say either way how this team fight is going to play out.
Yeah, you know, we can do all the analysis of, yeah, it's Sivir, but they have Infernal Soul and stuff. But honestly, I think it's just going to end up with one team catching out the other, and it's going to be game over just like that.
I do not understand how that happened, but honestly, I like the fact that it is coming down to that 1v1 style. It's one last Hail Mary, and I need to see Shirley not just group up. Stop trying to split push. I know you're trying to make the macro, but at this point, you need to be there not 4 seconds after the battle starts. You need to be there 5 seconds before the battle starts. These TPs are only useful if you're calling a proactive play. That's what I'm looking at. Granted, they're being given a lot of time. You can see the Chosen Goat being gifted an opportunity to push this wave in. You're able to collapse in, maybe get that extra tower and put yourselves a little bit of leg up in case things go sideways.
Yep, and now they've got the 1-3-1 with the Baron, and they are going to pick up that 1 tower in the top lane. But if you're XG, I think you're just looking for 1 point on the side of the map or something to collapse on someone and make that big difference.
I mean, this is... It's really going to be who gets caught out, who makes that wrong play. Like, that's what I'm really watching for. And honestly, Technology might, if we're looking at macro game, Technology might be the breaking point. If you can land these boomerangs, land some extra damage, you can actually break through a lot of the HP bars, and that might give the edge. That's about it though. Take a look at this wave clear. The wave clear coming out of XG Gnomes, they're able to clear those 2 cannon minions, and they're able to kind of push everyone away. Baron will wear out in about a minute, so there's about 2 more waves left of this crashing.
Yeah, and now you can see the Chosen actually going back over to that top side, looking to push that wave in. So Worm Jones, Keating, maybe gonna look for a snap engage. The key thing, Worm Jones looking for it, but Technology's ulti is gonna make sure that they stay safe for now.
I like that spell shield. This is why the Sivir I called is a really, really good pick, but that's a jump in.
Yeah, Worm just going in, but he's instantly killed. The team is all together this time, and here comes Renekton with the Dominus. They're going to be looking onto this tower. The need to work just a little bit more poke. They just need one more wave. They have 50 seconds of Jarvan not being alive. They need to end this game right now.
That hurts. That was a dive, and honestly, I respect it. But you jump forward, and Keijing, we talked about being that engaged tool without your extra member. I feel like this is game.
Yeah, and now they're looking for the
Oh
Encore.
my god!
Akali is one shot. YouTube misses the Encore, but lands the chains going on to Zui, now stalling with the home guard. Now LeChosen goes in the backline, going on to Killua. Can he get the kill? Zui forced into the base. Keijing left alone beside the towers. He's gonna try and stay alive, but what can a Vex support do against Surely Not?
Oh my
here.
god,
YouTube,
they can't end.
He goes down.
They can't end. I don't think they can end.
Yeah, they get the tower. It's a few people left. Like, Technology can still hit. The Gwen is.
Oh my god, Technology. The barrier.
Zoltar stays alive at the end, and he's going to end this game. Surely Not. The series is over, and they are the victors.
I hate everything about that. I hate everything about that, and I love it at the same time because it was one of the worst things that I hate calling is mistakes that occur, and there were a lot of them at the end, but I always say you have to capitalize on those mistakes. And at the very end, we said it comes down to that last mistake. Who makes that first error? And it was Worm Jones. There were a lot of mistakes back. There's a reason why Zohair was the only one alive at the very end. Wild stuff. Surely Not. You fought hard, you made some errors, but you came back strong, holding steady at the very end. You held your nerves. Technology with a beautiful spell shield eat, not allowing the engage from the Vex. It's once again a gold graph of destruction in the late game for Surely Not.
Yeah, that looks like a very fun roller coaster to be on. But, you know, I thought with the amount of throws that were happening that XG might have brought this game back. But in the end, with as close as possible of an ending, it's going to be Surely Not taking the second game. You know, nothing to see here. Just closed out the game that they had the gold lead in, I guess.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where I sit there going, oh man, this is a wild ride, and this embodies what I expect of teams in the middle of the pack. There are eyes on them. People are being seen. You know, they have the mechanics. We saw the mechanics in just about every single player. You know, Dwam Ni showing up big on the Akali, Zui having a good time, YouTube as well, and then Technology at the end. Everyone just having a moment. But it's these mistakes that they have to clean up if they want to fight for first and second, because top teams, they're not going to make those mistakes for you to capitalize on. And they're going to punish you for every mistake that you make. These are things that you have to clean up if you want to take the top spot.
Yeah, and that was just a crazy moment of an ending, and you've heard all about it from us, but we're gonna be back with a short interview in a little break, so we'll see you in a little bit. Don't go anywhere to see a first person's look from one of the players of Surely Not. Hello, everyone, and we are back with our boy Tenno himself, the Silver ADC in that fiesta of a game 2. And just coming out of that game, what are your thoughts? What was going through your team's minds at the end of that game, those last few moments in that final fight?
It was definitely insanely hectic game. I mean, our entire team knows people were just getting caught a lot, but I mean, once we finally tightened up and played together, we found some picks and just got to end the game. But at least we won, right?
Hey, listen, a win is a win, whether by an inch or a mile. I'm pretty sure a somewhat Fast and Furious member said that out there. But honestly, we also have to ask you about game number 1. We saw the gold graph at the end, and we did not have the pleasure of seeing how that ended. That was an even sharper spike of a gold difference swing at the end. What happened? That was it just like another team fight that occurred? What went down in game 1 that saw you guys' victory?
Game 1, I mean, at least I knew I was really ahead, just taking a lot of farm throughout the map, and once I got enough items, I could actually kill their front line. Even though Goat got pretty targeted early game and he fell really behind, he played team fights really well and just peeled people off of me with the set R, which came clutch pretty like a couple times. So once I just got to a damage threshold where I could get through their front line, we could just win fights and win the game.
Fair enough. I mean, that Xayah can rip everyone to shreds. A surprising pick to come out, not the Ashe, not the Caitlyn or anything like that. So very, very fun to watch. With that, you guys have secured, I believe, your first real victory here. If I was taking a look at maybe I am vastly wrong, yes, I am vastly wrong. This is now your second victory. You guys are now sitting at a 2-1 standing. Is this where you guys expected to be here in this league, especially heading into weeks 5 and 6?
I would say so. I think this team, especially like it's kind of obvious by the second game, we still have a lot to learn about just tightening things up and playing together as a team. I know our team's mechanical ceiling is just really high, so if we can get our team play together, we can. We have the potential to win it all. We just have some things to tighten up. I will say, I mean, not to say anything too bad about the teams we face against, but I do think we face probably they're probably 2 out of the 3 bottom teams in our group, so we still have a lot of hard competition to face.
Yeah, and this is your second time being on stream. We've got 2 O's from you both times. The games may have been close, but the result is still the same. And for the people who are rooting for you, everyone watching the stream, do you have any shout outs that you want to do for some people who we may not understand? Like, who's this voice leading this crazy macro that you guys do? Any secret person that's leading you to your victories?
Oh, at least for leading our team, Zohair definitely is the in-game voice for our team. I also play in Vanquisher as well and play with him, and he's just really the biggest part of both teams. Just being vocal, calling what he wants to do, calling what he wants the team to do. He's absolutely pivotal to both the teams that I play on with him. So shout out to him.
Yeah, all right. So Zohair is the genius behind the crazy plays that you guys go through. And with that, thank you so much for being here with us, Technology. This is going to be the end of tonight's stream. I'm sure everyone who had the pleasure of watching today's their heart health might not be too good, but I'm sure they had an amazing time. So that's going to be it for tonight. For all of you stream watchers, make sure to catch all the other series coming up later this week. I'm sure they'll be just as crazy bangers as this one. But with that, we'll see you next time.